While perusing Facebook Marketplace one evening, I came across a series of listings by one seller. Consisting of bulk lots of devices, they'd been up for a few days, so many were sold or pending. Many of the devices in these listings were quite old, with the exception of this lot, which despite being up for 2 days, no one seemingly wanted it. It had some newer Apple devices and everything was supposedly unlocked and working. What could possibly go wrong? So I met up with the seller in a car park late at night and he handed me this, a Kohl's bag full of old devices. I had to take his word that they were all unlocked and not stolen or something nefarious. Judging by the amount of phones he was selling and the age and condition, I'm guessing he ran a repair shop and these were trade-ins or e-waste. This lot consists of 11 iPhones, 3 iPads, 4 iPod Touch and 2 iPod Classic. I was confident to get a return on my money if just one of the classic iPods work, as these will sell in the range of $100 to $140 depending on spec. But let's see what works and how much potential return I could make out of these. I'll keep track of that up in the left corner. The first device, an iPhone X, is in pretty good condition around back. The front is quite chipped, however we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. Once it's booted, you can see it's already been reset. Take your bets now, is this phone activation locked? I was skeptical, but it has no activation lock. We're off to a really good start. To make things even better, as soon as I saw the setup had an eSIM screen, I knew this wasn't an iPhone X. This was an iPhone XS.
And it's a XS.
A 64GB to be exact, with 73% battery health, so it could do with a new battery. Face ID works, but the charge port could certainly do with a clean. I think in its current condition we could get $100 for it easily in 2026 based on the sold listings I found on eBay, which will be the basis of my estimated prices going forward. As for the chip screen, it was nothing but a damaged screen protector. The phone itself is in perfect condition. The next phone we'll be taking a look at is this iPhone 11. Cracked on both the back and front, it's a little worse for wear, but does it still work?
No way. Another one.
I'm starting to think this marketplace seller has actually sold me unlocked phones. I was fully expecting a box of locked phones with the possibility of only getting some old iPods working. Up next is an iPhone 7 Plus in lovely rose gold, however with a shattered screen. That in itself isn't a hard fix like the iPhone 11's back glass would be. But just as I was thinking the seller has sold me a bag full of unlocked phones, this one isn't reset. It's full of someone else's data. It's a 128GB model, however it's signed into someone else's iCloud account, so it's not unlocked and cannot be reset, making it only good for parts. Hopefully we don't get any further locked phones. So let's take a look at this iPhone 8. The back is cracked and will certainly impact its overall value, but it does work and is thankfully unlocked from iCloud and appears to be in otherwise fully working condition. I think $42 would be an achievable price for a phone like this one. Preceding is the newest phone in the bunch, an iPhone 12 Pro. The back is cracked, which is a real shame as it's very difficult and time consuming to replace. The display is also quite scratched and has a small hairline crack in the top left corner. It's probably not worth replacing in this condition and just something to put up with. Powering it up, I was disappointed to see it hadn't been reset, and I think you can guess why. iCloud. It's a 128GB with 88% battery health. While I started to get somewhat suspicious why someone had sold phones with data from different owners, I discovered a clue. Using a third-party website, as Apple removed theirs almost a decade ago, activation lock is showing as off despite what the phone is telling me. I think this strongly confirms my theory of these being traded in devices. iCloud has been switched off remotely. If it was lost or stolen, it would have been marked as such. No owner would remove it from their account otherwise. And out of the devices we've seen so far, most have worn batteries or other minor faults which someone might trade their device in for. I can connect the phone to Apple Configurator. Once I had it connected, I could use Configurator to send a reset command which ignores the iCloud account on the phone and forces a reset. Once reset, we're greeted with a scary iPhone is locked to owner message. which makes your stomach drop. Ta-da! But it's just the phone retaining the previous account. Once we attempt activation, it'll ping Apple's servers and see that it is unlocked and able to activate. Next, we have an iPhone 6 and 6S. This iPhone 6S is unlocked and in working condition, although I thought it had Wi-Fi issues as it didn't initially find nearby networks. It's a 64GB model on iOS 15.8. The 6 was also unlocked, however has 2 cracks on the screen and is only a 16GB model with 80% battery. The overall value of these devices is quite low, but adding to that total will be this iPhone 7. It's got some scratches around back, but it's in otherwise good condition. It's unlocked. Oh, and we have another one. Has working fingerprint and is a 32GB model, with the only issue being iOS reporting that the health of the battery is significantly degraded, at 92%. Up next is another iPhone 7, this time in gold, and it's in perfect condition. But like the iPhone 7 Plus and 12 Pro, it wasn't reset. I realize the owner is responsible for wiping a device prior to trading it in or recycling, but there's something not right about selling someone else's phone with their data still on it, and it having no passcode. I tapped on the Notes app to find the first thing to appear was the Apple ID password in plain text.
Yes! Oh, no way! Let's put a reset iPhone. Erase all content and settings.
This will allow me to wipe the device through settings. And just like that, we have another iPhone 7. With the majority of phones now tested, it's time for the remaining iPods and iPads. Starting with the best two, the reason I bought this lot in the first place, the iPod 5th and 7th generation. Let's plug in the 7th generation first. It powers on, but boot loops and occasionally shows the Restore with iTunes screen. Judging by all the clicking coming from the hard drive, it's a goner. But with a new drive or flashcard conversion, this iPod will work again. I was worried the 5th generation was going to be the same, as it too kept boot looping. But it turned out to be nothing more than a very flat battery. After giving it a good charge, it's working perfectly, although a new battery and flash conversion would be recommended. Despite their age, they can still fetch really good prices. They help bring the total to $675. The touch-based iPods are practically worthless in comparison to the click-wheel models, despite being newer and having more features. They just don't have the easy repairability and upgradability that the classic iPods do. This 4th generation was once owned by a local library. It's now stuck in recovery mode. I first attempted a restore with Apple Configurator to find the progress bar not to progress, and eventually failed. I tried again on another computer using iTunes to find the restore to complete, leaving us with a basic, but working 8GB iPod Touch 4 with some dead pixels. Another iPod Touch 4 in the lot was also an 8GB, with some gross staining running down one side. The only particularly interesting thing about this one is that it hasn't been updated from iOS 4. As for the grime under the case, I wasn't too keen on finding out what it was or cleaning it. I should really wear gloves for these videos, maybe next time. It was really stubborn to remove, and I'm not sure what it was, maybe blood or just some kind of food. Either way, the back of this iPod is in great condition with minimal scratches after cleaning. Speaking of scratches, have a look at this 64GB model. It's well used, and I had a bit of trouble connecting the 30-pin cable, but with a bit of persuasion, it connected. It hasn't a lot of apps, but it's crammed full of music, 4,325 songs to be exact. Which looks like I have plenty of new music to listen to, which I think is the best part of buying old iPods. There was a few other older devices too, including an iPhone 3G, which for some reason had a flathead screw used to hold the screen on. It works and has Cydia, but it doesn't open, possibly because it's an tethered jailbreak. There was also a 2nd generation iPod Touch, which has its fair share of scratches to both the back and front. and even more unidentified grime I had to get off. A gem amongst these older devices turned out to be this iPhone 4S. I normally wouldn't have given it too much of a thought, but it's running iOS 5, the original iOS version that shipped on the 4S. Apple devices typically can't be downgraded once updated, so Apple fans or collectors will take interest in this one. So it's something that will sell and likely be repaired by someone. I think we should get $22 for it. As for the iPads, we have 3 in total. A mini first generation, an Air, and an iPad 4. The mini one has a horrid case on it, which is going straight in the bin. It powers up, but has an issue we haven't seen in the slot so far. It's passcode locked. Based on the serial number, it's also activation locked. Thankfully, it's only a first gen mini, which are basically worthless anyway, so I'm not writing any value down as it's just e-waste. The iPad Air may still have a little value, but not much, especially since the minimum app versions typically require newer iOS versions. There's a colourful pressure mark on the display which indicates to me the battery has started to expand. The last device in this lot is an iPad 4 64GB. Unfortunately, it's another one that hasn't been reset and is still linked to someone's account. Otherwise, it's in perfect condition. But I found out a possible reason why this account wasn't signed out. The digitizer has some serious issues, which makes entering passcodes almost impossible. But with an iCloud account, this iPad is worthless. If you're looking for a way to test all the major functions of a used phone, test it with iTest. Not only does it give you an easy way to test a display for touch and burn-in, but it has loads of other tests too, including sensors like gyroscope and compass, hardware like cameras, vibration, and NFC. It's even able to check for spoofed hardware info common on cheap no-name Android phones. Check it out on the App Store and Google Play. So this is it. A Facebook Marketplace phone and tablet lot I paid just $70 for has a potential return of $800, which is around 1,150 Australian dollars. And I think I was quite conservative with some of the prices, using eBay's recently sold section to estimate all of them. That's a profit of over 700 US dollars. It's amazing how fast it adds up. It's enough to buy the new MacBook Neo. With some basic battery replacements, I could raise some of the prices, but the time and repair costs would also need to be factored in. While I was skeptical buying sight unseen by purely taking the seller's word and meeting him in a public place, there was no way I could get my money back if I got scammed. But the risk paid off. I will fix up some of the newer devices, but the remaining will go up for sale. So if you're looking for a cheap device to repair, keep an eye out on my store over the next few weeks. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing and check out the Tech Lot playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.